All right, guys, welcome to the Real Estate Huddle for episode 10. We're going to talk about a very interesting topic that I think is at the heart of every homeowner right now, is how do you make your street the Wonder Years in 2024?
You have to describe Wonder Years in front of our audience.
Yeah, maybe no one has that in their heart right now, but we came up with this idea and we think it's really funny and, well, not funny, but like interesting for people to think about their street that they live on. And like, do people interact on their street? Do they not interact? And why? You know, and could just kind of, pour through that a little bit. Because, being in a home, being a homeowner and living on a street where, your neighbors, you interact with people. For a lot of people, that's like part of the American dream, right? Like of living around people and having friends within your neighborhood. So I think it's worth talking about. And I think we've had, I don't know, at least I have had some contrast within like the 3 homes that I've lived in personally. The different areas have produced different results as far as that goes. And I think that I could probably take 100% accountability for that, like how I treated it or how much we wanted to actually get out there and get to know the neighbors, was probably
it's all you know until you know something else. So until you hit the second house, you don't have anything to compare to.
Totally. Yep. And so, I just wanted to kind of start out with our experience. Like we moved into our first house and I remember, we did get to know a couple of our neighbors. We had a couple that stopped by, dropped us some cookies or something on the door when we moved in, and that was really cool. And we had a pretty good block, like on our first one. It was a cul-de-sac. I remember my neighbor Steve, he moved in from like Palo Alto, like really nice area in California. And I went up and like he moved in and we saw him for the first time out on his driveway. And I went up and I just shook his hand, introduced myself and said, "Hey, how's it going? We live right here. It's nice to meet you." And he just stopped and he was kind of funny about it. And he's like, "This is why we moved here." He's like, "Because that never would have happened in Northern California." Okay, no offense, Northern California, but that's what he said. And he said that like there it's just people keep to themselves. They don't ever interact. It's just kind of, the grind of the Silicon Valley, work area. And he was so impressed that I went over and just said hi to him and like introduced myself. And we became really good friends. Like he actually, worked on my shoulder and my arm that I like tore, because he's a chiropractor and just did, he was such a cool guy. We had a great relationship with them, went over to their house for dinner, got together. I coached their daughter in basketball. So we had this great relationship just from like an initial handshake. So I feel like just being bold enough to walk across the street and say hi and introduce yourself to new neighbors that move in oftentimes can be the start of something great.
So I started making notes is what I was thinking about. First thing I wrote is like, first and foremost, are you that guy? Are you the extrovert? Are you the connector? Do you care about this? If so, do it.
Yeah.
If you get to know people, maybe they're not that and they need to be helped along. But be yourself, and you got to make the first step is the easiest thing. In our case, we were in Northern California, one town away from Palo Alto, but we live in a condo. And what I remember is, condos are, you walk in, there's 2 doors and 2 doors up, and we got to know the 3 people that we shared stairways with, and that was our little neighborhood community. Pool, you meet a lot. Pool, we started a family there, so you meet them that way. That's not quite the same thing.
So people can be nice in Palo Alto, is what you're saying?
We were in Mountain View, so maybe they're a little nicer in Mountain View.
No,
Palo Alto's a pretty great place.
I'm sure there's lots of nice people there.
Steve, who's the guy who founded Apple? Steve Jobs story. Palo Alto. Another time. Anyway, the second place, when we first moved into a neighborhood, it was like butter. Like it was so smooth because everyone had kids the same age. Mm-hmm. Remember bus stops? Did you have bus stops still?
I didn't ride the bus.
See, bus stops were such a central part. Like I remember in my neighborhood growing up, you'd all walk from one cul-de-sac or several.
Yeah.
And you may not like each other, but you all got to know each other, and it made connections for the families. But we had a great experience in Virginia because we had so many kids the same age.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I was thinking about here, since we've moved here, I describe us as we were part of the first turnover. Mm-hmm. So we still have half of our cul-de-sac or original, meaning they built their house 26 years ago or something. Mm-hmm. So there was a really, really tight neighborhood, Wonder Yearsy type thing that had started dissipating because some of those people would leave and someone had to pick it up. And we've sort of done, we as a neighborhood, We used to have a floating Christmas party that we've partook in, but a couple of the big drivers left, and you got to recreate it.
Yeah. That's cool. No, that's some good ideas as far as just getting people together and stuff.
Yeah, like some of the ideas, like obviously holiday parties, the neighborhood garage party. Mm-hmm. Some other real estate agent did that some years ago. I don't know why it stopped, but
yeah,
that was a connection point.
That's cool. Yeah, there's blocks in my old neighborhood. So I just came from another house like 2 months ago. I made a move. And we lived there for 9 years, right? And our street was probably like most streets, I think, we liked our neighbors. There was no problem, but there just wasn't a whole lot of interaction. And I saw that there were other neighbors on the block that did interact with each other, that had been there for 20 years. We were kind of the new people coming on, and we just never really made the effort on our second house, unfortunately. I'll put it on us, but
too much fun stuff to do in the backyard.
I guess, yeah. We were back there with the kids, and so that's probably part of it. But just not a whole lot of interaction or things that the community got going or got together on, right? Where I've had a friend of mine, Nate Bennett, actually said that he did a popsicle party in his driveway, which I thought was kind of cool. They just super simple, put flyers on the whole block to get to know their neighbors, and they just said, hey, we're just going to do popsicles in the driveway on a summer night. Come on over, get to know the neighbors. And they said it was awesome. They had a great turnout, had a lot of people over, and they, kids got to know other people's kids, and, it was just a really fun time. And this is in a nicer high-end neighborhood too, that worked out. So I feel like sometimes in the luxury neighborhoods, you get less and less of that because people cocoon more in those neighborhoods because they kind of bought that house with a half acre to stay away from neighbors or not have them so close. Mm-hmm. But that even worked in that setting. So I thought that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But, Jackson, how about you? You just moved into your house last year, right?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
It's been 2 years now. Holy
Pretty
cow.
much, yeah.
So, have you had any interactions with your neighbors being in a townhome type situation?
Yeah, so my home was new construction, so I actually met my next door neighbor during the inspection because he was doing an inspection on his home as well. Mm-hmm. We use the same company. So it's been kind of a mixed bag, I'd say, because it's my next door neighbor, we're very close. We both like UFC, so we'll watch events together. They have a Traeger grill out there, so if you don't have a grill, find a friend who does or a neighbor, be friendly with them. But we also have people who are secret neighbors. There's a guy that we joke is in witness protection because he'll come out on his balcony, and if he sees anybody, right back inside, shutters the blinds. To each their own, but
there's a few of those on every block. I think.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, that's
the other variable that matters the most, which we both talk about, is are you in a cul-de-sac or are you in the middle of a street? And I think that makes things very different.
Yeah.
And one thing that I don't know for other communities, but I know Lakewood actually has grants for community parties. If you say, hey, I want to meet my neighbors, you can contact your, local government, and they might have a grant to give you a little budget to get some food, set up a gazebo and in a park nearby or something like that if you want to meet neighbors that way.
No way. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. I had no idea that
We've done that a few times we as a team do that with our buyer clients to help them do what's the word I'm looking for?
Housewarming
party.
Yep.
We did a housewarming party. That's a great way to kind of make that connection. Again, if you're the extroverted, you're going to turn that into something else versus if you're not, at least have folks to call when you're worried about fire or watch the pets and such.
We love doing that. And I think that's one of the best value, propositions that we propose as a team is help you get into your house, and then we throw a housewarming party, cater some food, bring some over. We'll invite the neighbors if you want us to, or just your friends and close family so that they can all come and see the house all at once. I think that's something that people really enjoy.
I think it's a great idea to maybe go one step further and call it this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonder Years creation or whatever it is.
Totally. Yeah. So talking about the Wonder Years, why does the Wonder Years not exist today, right? It was based in the 60s, would you say?
70s.
1970s? Okay.
Might be 60s.
Yeah, great show. One of the most famous like series I think of its time. And I think that like kids nowadays, they feel like they have a better option with screens, right? With the Nintendo Switch or Xbox or whatever it is, right? With their phones.
You don't need it's just
Yeah.
plain old phones.
I mean, the whole world of social media and everything. And so like it's the kids that aren't doing it. Like the kids instigated it back then. And even in my day, like in the 90s growing up in Littleton, I would get home from school and I would get my phone, the home phone, and I would dial like all 4 of my friends on the street and I would say, hey, can Jared come out and play? Hey, can Chris come out and play? Hey, can Thomas come out and play? And then we'd all meet outside and then we'd play 2-hand touch football or basketball or whatever. And then maybe we'd go back in and watch an episode of Saved by the Bell and watch Michael Jordan on WGN. Right? Something like that. But that was my wonder years. I felt like I truly lived it. And so I feel for kids these days that don't have the same experience and they don't get out and have that social interaction and they're too like busy on their screens. They don't know the joy that they would have if they did.
And so ask their folks to share like their Facebook or Instagram feed because I get those all the time. Like,
Totally.
You grew up in the 70s when you'd say goodbye to your mom at 9:15 a.m. and she'd say, just be home for dinner, and you'd be off on your bike.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And so I think that's kind of the reason why, because the kids were the instigators back then and now they're not. And so now it's kind of, if you want that for your kids or if you want that as an adult, like you got to go get it and you got to be a lot more proactive with it. Right. And it's not just the kids that are on screens, it's the adults too. And so to make it happen, I just want to share with you like our experience moving into our new place because it's been awesome. Like we've had such a cool experience with the neighbors there on that street. And one of the things that happened right when we moved in was we had, the neighbors reaching out saying like, hey, we've got this get together every other Wednesday. And we have like anybody who's interested on the block comes over and we just change houses, hosting at a different place each time.
Inside or in the driveway?
Yeah, well, mostly it's in people's houses or in their backyard. Like if they have like a little backyard setting.
It'll probably be more outside.
Depending on the weather, yeah. So every other Wednesday night for like a couple hours, we get together and they invited us to be a part of that. Like as soon as we moved in and then invited us to be on the group me where all the messages are on and stuff so that we could coordinate that. Or not group me, WhatsApp. So if you're not familiar with WhatsApp, it's used internationally. It's pretty awesome.
He's 24 years old. He knows what WhatsApp is. Okay.
Well, yeah, no, I know Jackson does, but maybe some of our listeners. It's awesome because you can post pictures, videos, send messages about meeting times or whatever. And it's really easy. Nextdoor is another one that like you can use, within a neighborhood. But there's a couple platforms that make it a little easier. And so that immediately, like the first one we went to, we got to know a bunch of people on our block that
Lots
showed
of
up.
other kids?
Yeah.
Is it mostly the whole families or just the adults?
It was just the adults that went. It was an adult get together, but they were talking about their kids that they have and stuff. And so we got to know what their situation was like. And like my daughter got asked to babysit for one of the families this week. And then the other thing that came with it is and it only takes one person to do this. And there's one person, her name's Amy, and she's got this group together and she started a volleyball team for our block. And so we are the Rancheros, in Highlands Ranch.
Oh, right.
That's our name. And we play volleyball every Monday night at the rec center. And it's whoever shows up.
Or just whoever shows?
Whoever shows. Yeah, like I think last night they had like 6 people. Another night we had like 12, So, but it doesn't matter. It's just about coming out, having fun with your neighbors and having a good time. I don't think we've won a game yet, but we've had a really good time with it. It's been fun. So that's been my experience at the new place. I've thought it's just awesome to see like what a community can do and what the effect that one person can have on their entire street and the enjoyment of the whole block because of that one person being proactive and fearless and just getting out there and making that the wonder years. So that's kind of the discussion for today. Anything else you guys want to say before we break on this one?
You brought up Nextdoor. I spent many years before real estate in local media, and that was like City Search and AWOL City Guide, Digital Cities. It was creating local community, but it was kind of city-centric. And only with the new technology, you get hyper-local. Nextdoor kind of is that. Like there's a lot of bickering and whining, all the negative you can think with forums like that, but it is highly scalable and it is a way, if you are that extroverted connector, you're starting that, not lollipop, popsicle party, it's
Yep.
still a very effective way because it is at scale now.
Totally. Yeah.
And I'd also say, even if you're an introvert, like, you don't have to have a party with your neighbors, but wave at them when you see them. Be nice, be friendly. Like, I have neighbors who all wave at them, and they've never waved back at me ever.
Keep waving.
Like,
I'm that guy. I keep waving.
Oh, inside tip. If you're a real extrovert and you want to make friends, buy a house right next to the mailbox, the community mailbox, because everyone comes to see you. Well, I didn't even know we did that, but we did that.
That's
And
funny.
It's awesome. I get to know people as they walk to go get their mail. So
That's funny.
anyways, thanks for joining us today, guys, for episode 10, how to make your street the Wonder Years in 2024. And hopefully you'll stay with us
We
and
should
stay tuned for next
overlay,
time.
when we publish this thing, some link to our favorite Wonder Years episode.
Totally.
Not that I have one, but I'm sure it could come up.
that's so funny, because we had that 70s show was like our sitcom of
Then maybe
the Wonder
Landin
Years.
is right.
are like-
Maybe the Wonder Years was actually the late 60s.
Yeah, it could have been.
I think you're right. There was talk of, Vietnam and such.
All right. Stay tuned.
All right.
Until next time.